The fire started at 2:17 a.m. That was the official time written in the town report. The night Riverside Military Hospital burned to the ground. But that is not why people still whisper about it. They whisper because of Nurse Eleanor Whitaker, and because she was never found. Riverside was a small red brick hospital in northern Ohio, built during World War II to treat wounded soldiers shipped back from Europe.
We're almost there!
It stood at the edge of town, near frozen train tracks and empty fields that turned white in winter. On the night of January 14th, 1944, snow covered everything. The air was still, too still. Inside, Eleanor Whitaker moved quietly between beds. She was 26, brown hair pinned neatly, calm hands, soft voice. The soldiers trusted her. Some of them said she walked like she was listening for something no one else could hear. That night, she kept checking the West Wing. Twice, then 3 times. Why was she watching that hallway before the fire even started? At 2:16 a.m., an orderly reported smelling smoke. At 2:17 a.m., flames erupted from the west storage room. Within minutes, the entire wing was burning. Screams filled the halls. Metal trays crashed. Windows shattered from heat. Nurses rushed patients outside into the snow, wrapping them in blankets. But Eleanor was not among them. Her coat was still hanging near the nurse station. Her locker untouched. Her boots still by the radiator. They searched the building for 2 days after the fire died. They found bodies. They found melted beds. They found collapsed ceilings. They did not find Eleanor Whitaker. The official statement was simple. She must have perished in the flames. But there was no body, no remains, no trace, and something else didn't make sense. The fire started in a locked storage room, a room that only 3 people had keys to: the hospital director, the head physician, and Nurse Eleanor Whitaker. Town rumors spread fast. Some said she panicked and ran. Some said she was trapped. Some said she knew something about the supplies stored in that room, something not listed in the hospital inventory. The Army labeled the incident electrical failure. Case closed. But the West Wing had no electrical wiring inside that storage room. No wires, no heater, no lamps, just metal cabinets and sealed crates. Years passed. The hospital was rebuilt. New paint, new staff, new patients. But the old foundation remained buried underneath. In 1987, during a renovation of the original West Wing, construction workers broke through part of the old concrete base. Inside the wall, they found something wrapped in oilcloth. It was not burnt. It was not damaged. It was a sealed envelope. The handwriting on the front read, "To be opened if anything happens." Signed, Eleanor Whitaker. And the letter was dated 1 day before the fire. The envelope was dry, untouched by fire, untouched by time. The construction workers handed it to the hospital board. By evening, the town sheriff was holding it under fluorescent light, turning it over slowly. The seal had never been broken. Inside was a single folded letter, 3 pages, all in Eleanor Whitaker's handwriting. The first line was simple. "If you are reading this, then the fire has already happened." The room went silent. She wrote that she had discovered something inside the West storage room weeks before January 14th. Crates marked as medical supplies had arrived late at night. No paperwork, no signatures, only orders. She described overhearing a quiet argument between the hospital director and 2 men in military coats. The words she caught were strange. Transfer before inspection. Off the record. Experimental. What exactly was stored inside a hospital that required secrecy during wartime? Eleanor admitted she used her key to enter the storage room after midnight on January 13th. Inside, she found metal canisters stacked behind regular supply boxes. No labels, no documentation, But she recognized the smell. Not medicine. Fuel. Highly flammable fuel. She wrote that the West Wing had recently been scheduled for an unexpected renovation. Patients would be moved. Records archived. She believed the fire was meant to erase something. And she believed it would happen within days. Her letter explained her decision. She could not expose the shipment. She had no proof beyond suspicion. Reporting it would mean court-martial or worse. Instead, she planned something else. On the night of January 14th, she entered the storage room again, not to start the fire, but to stop it. She wrote that she moved several canisters away from the center stacks, hoping to reduce the blast if ignition occurred. Then she heard footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, fussed, not hospital staff. Someone else had a key. The next lines were smudged, as if written in a hurry. She described the smell of smoke beginning before she struck a match, before she touched anything. The fire was never mine, she wrote. She believed whoever entered after her triggered it. And when the flames spread, she did not run toward the exit. She ran deeper inside, toward the remaining fuel. Her final paragraph was steady. She wrote that if the fire reached the untouched canisters, the explosion would destroy more than the hospital. The nearby train yard carried ammunition shipments. The blast would reach town, so she dragged the last canisters toward the burning center, away from the outer wall, away from the tracks. She knew she would not make it out. The final sentence on the third page was short. "I will not let them burn the town." The sheriff lowered the letter slowly. There were no military records of experimental storage. No investigation reopened. No charges filed. The hospital archives remained silent. But one fact became clear. The fire that destroyed Riverside Military Hospital was intentional, but Eleanor Whitaker did not start it. She died stopping something far worse. She never disappeared. She was buried beneath the hospital she saved. If this letter found you, then her silence finally has a voice. And somewhere in another forgotten building, another sealed envelope is still waiting.